Hey lovelies, thanks for stopping by my channel today. I'm excited to be sharing with you some of my recent favorites. I just wanted to sit down because there have been quite a few things in my makeup collection that I have just been drawn to and reusing. I feel like the last month or maybe 6 weeks has really been about using the products that I know that I can really count on. Things that I found that they have a great formula, maybe I just really love the color, it goes with a lot, things I don't have to think so much about. It's been mornings where I just don't want to think. Basically, that's what we're getting into today. So in this video, I do actually have a good mix of new-ish products and just new to me products. So I think that that is kind of good to have a little dabble of using some things that I pulled back out and I'm like, yeah, this is so good. And then a couple things that since I've gotten them, I just haven't put them down. And that's what I'm gonna be sharing with you today. But if we haven't met before, my name is Kelly and I'm a professional hair and makeup artist. And here on my channel, I strive to keep beauty real. Real honest, real relatable, and real fun. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, don't forget to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. We're gonna dive right in. Let's start out with some skincare. I just have a couple things. Neither of these are new to me. In fact, I might have recently talked about this one. I'm not sure. And yes, I have a little like bag clip on this. This is one of those Pampered Chef clips. That's the only con about this product is the packaging. I'll get into that in just a second. But this is the is it Make Prem or Make Prem? Whichever. So this is the Safe Me Relief Moisture Cleansing Foam. It says it's a low irritant and mild acid foam. It does have a pH of 5.5. And this is just a cleanser that I have loved from the start. You can see I'm almost out of it. This was sent to me, but I would hands down rebuy another one of these. I'm actually kind of tempted. I'm going to try to resist because if you saw my like skincare organization, you'll know that I have quite a few cleansers that I should probably get through first, but I would hands down rebuy this one. Why do I like it? Well, first of all, a little goes a very long way. I've had this for a really long time because it's one of those products that comes out. It is more of like a creamy product that really foams up a lot. So yes, it's creamy, but you get a ton of bubblage from it. And so for me, that means I just need a tiny little pea size and then I can emulsify it in my hands and it just lathers up beautifully. It cleanses my skin really well, but doesn't make it feel like stripped at the end. You know, it's not like, I don't feel like I need to run and put a serum or a moisturizer on right away. So I really like this. It's like cleansing without being stripping. And the only thing that I don't love about it, and I've just gotten used to it, is the scent. It has a little bit of that like mentholated, it just has that like camphor kind of smell to it. It's not really strong, but it is there, but it's fine because I just like the way that my skin feels with this. I find that, you know, even if I'm having a lazy day and I'm not gonna double cleanse, so I'm not gonna go through with, you know, like a balm or an oil cleanser first to then use this, it still does a really nice job. When I got this, it was in a set with a milky cleanser and then a sunscreen. And I actually gave the sunscreen to Jeremy to use for work because he's out in the sun all the time. So I'm always like just trying to give him some good sunscreen. And then the milky cleanser is what I really thought that I would like, but I prefer this one just because I find that that lather, it really helps clean my skin. I didn't feel like the milky cleanser was great for morning if I just wanted like a little refresh, but this is what I've really been enjoying. And it is, again, it's like a richer, more milky lather as opposed to that like overly bubbly, strippy thing. I hope that makes sense. So again, I know I've talked about this one before. What I was going to say is this packaging though, because it is like a tube, it's sort of like with toothpaste, when you go to start squeezing it out, some of it just keeps going up. And then I'm like, I'm never gonna really be able to use this. So I've just been kind of like, as I go, taking this little clip and pushing it down further and further on here because I want to use every last drop of this one. I really do love it. And it just kept pushing up into the top. So that is the only thing about that packaging. And I don't know how you would get around that. Like, it's too thick, I would think, to put into a pump. So you do need to kind of have it in a tube. I don't know. By the way, this is also the one that I put on my toothbrush. If you missed that Instagram story that one time, I was using this and then I also had a toothpaste that was in very, very similar packaging. And one night I was just totally spacing out, went on like autopilot, put this on my toothbrush and I was like, this tastes really weird. Yes, I totally washed my own mouth out with soap. Not a good experience. Do not recommend that. It is really good as a face wash, but not so much as a mouth wash. Okay, so here is a product that honestly I had kind of forgotten that I had in my collection until I did that skincare organization. So I am so glad that I did that, not only for like my sanity and organization, but because I found some products that I forgot I loved. This is the Origins Original Skin Matte Moisturizer with Willow Herb. This is one that I don't even know. Did I get it? Oh, you know what? I might have gotten it through Influencer many moons ago. I might have gotten it through Influencer. I have since purchased, like this is probably my second one since then because I really do like this. So you hear matte moisturizer and it's sort of like, oh, I don't want it to be like drying. I need a lot of hydration. I do usually have normal to dry skin, but here's the thing. In the summertime, I do start to feel like I just get almost overly glowy. I love a good glowy moment, but sometimes it just gets to be overly glowy. And this is really perfect for those times that if I feel like I'm gonna be getting really hot, whether I'm gonna be outside a lot or I just have a really long day where I'm gonna be hustling, this is a really good one. It is more of a like gel cream. So I'll show you in here. You can see it just has that like nice thick gel consistency. It is really like a nice thick gel, but it just goes on with a almost like satiny powdery feel. So what I'm gonna do is I'll actually take a little bit of this and I'll put it on the back of my hand so that you can see it really hydrates the skin, but it doesn't leave it overly glowy. Yeah, it just has like a very soft feel to it. So can you see, like, I mean, my hands right now are actually kind of dry. It doesn't like make it more matte, but it doesn't make it more glowy. It's just like perfect. It's just perfect. It feels very soft. I have actually recommended this to several of my oily skinned clients who still need some great hydration, but maybe don't want to have any glowy effect. I will say when I use this, I tend to load up a little bit more on an eye cream or something more hydrating around this area because this is where I get super dry and I want to feel like I'm extra hydrated in those areas. Now, the other thing that I'm happy to report is that this product actually mixes really nicely with foundations to sort of sheer them out, but not make them more glowy. If you're not new to my channel, you've probably heard me talk about shearing out my foundations with a moisturizer or like a serum type product to be able to get less coverage, but still use a product that I really enjoy. And what I usually use for that is either this is the Glow Recipe Niacinamide Dew Drops, or I use the First Aid Beauty Coconut Skin Smoothie Priming Moisturizer. The only thing is both of those products have some glow. This is like mega glow, and then the First Aid Beauty is sort of like a nice, healthy, you know, drank a lot of water kind of glow. The only problem with that is if I start out glowy, I just end up more glowy by the end of the day. And there, like I said, there are those days where I just know I'm gonna be getting hot, I'm gonna be doing a lot, and I just don't want to get super glowy, especially right here. This is kind of where it happens. So I'm happy to report that today I actually used this, mixed this in with a little bit of my Complexion Rescue Tinted Moisturizer from Bare Minerals. You all know that is my ride or die. And so I was like, all right, if it mixes well with this, it's gonna mix well with just about anything, because that has that like light gel-like texture that I think, I was just worried, like something that has like a more matte texture, is that gonna go with something that's a little bit more glowy? And it really mixed beautifully. Again, that's all that I have on. It's very sheer because I just sheared out a tinted moisturizer, but I was really just more trying to see like how they would mix together, how it would apply. It worked great. So I think this is gonna be my new cocktail product, and also just one to be able to use as my moisturizer on days where I have a feeling it's gonna be a hustle day. And I actually did wear this yesterday as just my straight moisturizer. I had a long day of teaching classes. I was teaching a 6-hour class, and like when I'm doing that, I'm hustling. So I'm kind of like bebopping around, helping some of the attendees. And so I definitely had a few moments where I was like, feeling warm, and it was a really hot day out. It was very hot. So I just found that I did get pretty glowy by the end of the day, but nowhere near as glowy as what I would have if I had used a different product. So really enjoying this one. If you have oily skin, or maybe you want something to do like zone hydration, you know, maybe you have areas that do get a little bit more oily and you want something that you can still use moisturizer in those areas and not get too shiny, this would be a good one to try. It's been around a long time, but that doesn't mean it isn't great. Right? Okay, so let's see. I think that's it for skincare. I do have a couple hair care mentions. So right away, as we're going into the humid season, I do want to talk about the Paul Mitchell Clean Beauty Anti-Frizz Leave-In Treatment. This is a beautiful hydrating leave-in conditioner. This uses almond oil and hyaluronic acid to really give hair the moisture and the frizz protection that it needs. So we all know we all know that we love some hyaluronic acid on our skin. So why not add it into our hair, right? And that is one of the #1 reasons why hair gets frizzy is usually it's a bit on the dry side and the cuticle is kind of like opening up, trying to like find moisture in the air to get into the hair. So if you're able to hydrate your hair a bit more, you will tend to have less frizz. And this is really nice. It is, I don't want to say it's lightweight, but it's not super heavy either. You know, so I would say it's really ideal for that like medium to coarse hair. If you did have fine hair, you'd need to use a little bit less. Sometimes what fine haired friends think of as frizz is just that like, you know, flyaway hair. There's a difference. You know, I feel like flyaways are just like those little extra hairs that just tend to like need a bit of control, whereas frizz is a whole different thing that's kind of like, you know, out of control hair that's just really, really needing a little extra help. But anyway, totally going off track there. What I wanted to say is that I do think if you did want to try it on fine hair, you just need to use a smaller amount. Like I said, it's not super heavy. This just really has that beautiful creamy feel that gives that hair that nourishment and hydration that it needs. Okay, the other product that I want to talk about, and this is one that has been around again for a long time. It's sort of like a little bit newer meets not quite so new. And this is the Avapui Well Ginger Styling Treatment Oil. So this product really helps nourish. It adds hydration. It adds a soft amount of shine. The thing about this is it is a drier oil feel and it absorbs into the hair. I wonder, you know what? I could use a little bit right now. Let's go ahead and use a little bit of this. Now, if you've ever tried the Avapui Well Ginger line, oh, it smells so good. It really does have that like nice ginger smell, but it's not like overly spicy ginger. It just is a nice like, I don't know. There's just something that's so luxurious about the scent of this. So because I have wavy, coarse, color treated hair, I definitely need a little extra love, and this definitely gives that to my hair. And with this product, you know, you put it in and I would say honestly within, you know, a minute or two, it almost feels like you didn't put anything in it. And that's because it's really absorbed into the hair. It just leaves behind a little bit of luster that doesn't look like overly done. You know, sometimes some oils can get that really oily look, and I've never seen that with this one. I mean, I guess if you use too much of this, anything could get a little oily looking, but I think that that's a little bit hard to do with this product. And a little does go a long way. Even in all the hair that I have, I usually only use like 2 pumps. So I do love this one. Oh, the smell of it is so nice, I tell you. So I've been using this one quite a bit recently. It just helps bring the softness and life back to my hair without making it feel weighed down, without making it feel like gloopy, producty. This is a lovely one. So it's just one of those things that, again, I stepped away from for a minute and I found it in my hair hoard and I was like, oh, why haven't I used this one in a while? I'm gonna pull this out. And so really been enjoying this. So I will, by the way, make sure to have everything linked down below. And as always, when I talk about Paul Mitchell hair care, I do like to just be open, upfront, and disclose that I am a national trainer for Paul Mitchell. They don't pay me to talk to you about their products on my channel at all. They don't even know that I'm doing this. These are products that I truly love, and I do always like to say that. So I will also mention that usually when I talk about these, I do put my Amazon links down just because I do earn a small commission if you shop those. You can also go straight through the Paul Mitchell website as well if you would like to. Okay, one more hair product. Well, technically I have 2 in my hands, but it really is one hair product that I want to talk to you about, and these are the Framar King Claw clips. So you know, hair clips are back. They are living their moment again. And as someone who went through the stage where these were first the thing, I do really love a good claw clip. The only thing is I have a lot of hair. And so sometimes I'll buy a claw clip and it's like, that doesn't quite get all of my hair up and in and feel secure. It's either I can't get all my hair up into it, but it's too big to make it like a half up style. It just is like at that awkward size. Or I can get all of my hair into it, but not enough to like really secure to the base. So it's just gonna kind of like slide out throughout the day. And that's where these come in. So these King Claw clips are so nice. I got them in a pack of 4. And so there's a black, there's this like brown shade, this sort of like caramel shade. And then I think there's one that's even lighter than this. It was like 4 neutral shades. I really like the square ones. I just like those the best. They do also have the slightly rounded ones. I think that they had some pastels. I will link the Amazon store for Framar so that you can see them because these really do work. If you have long hair, you have exceptionally thick hair, these will be great for you. I love them. They stay in. And I just like this like matte vibe. I think it's modern. You know, if you don't want this to be an accessory. If you're just like, hey, I just want to get my hair up, but I don't want like my claw clip to be the thing that everyone sees, this will blend in a little bit more. So I think that these are really nice. I've really enjoyed them. Like I said, I have a lot of hair and this will stay really secure all day. So I did want to share these for my lovelies with all of the hair. All right, so now let's talk about some makeup favorites. So the foundation that I've really been enjoying this month, I think because it is very flexible, because I can mix it, make it more sheer, leave it more of like a medium to full coverage. And I also really love the finish of this because it is more of like a satin finish. It's not matte by any means. It really just looks lovely and skin-like, but it's not so glowy that as summer comes, I'm gonna feel like extra glowy. I love the finish of this. This is the Nars Light Reflecting Foundation, and this one right now, so I have the shade Fiji, and this I wore the other day. If you saw my, which video was it? Oh, my Nomad Cosmetics. So I think part of it was just the fact that the exposure on my camera was up more, but I was wearing this, and you see from day to day as I go doing two different looks, like the day that I wore this, it was like light. I was like, oops, I think I'm already getting too dark to wear that foundation. So as I'm using this one throughout this season, I will be adding in a deeper foundation just to like tone it down a little bit. I would love to get another shade of this, but the thing is like, I do have several foundations and I know it would take me forever to get through 2 bottles of this product because really it is such a, for me, fuller coverage foundation that I don't need a lot at a time, and I'd rather just use up the other foundations in my collection that are too dark and cocktail them together. So that's what I've been doing. Love, love, love that foundation. So now I'd like to share with you 2 products that I've been using as sort of like bronzer products, so things that I can kind of use to get a little shape to the face, but also kind of like get a bit more dimension and warmth to the skin. And one is a liquid, one is a cream. Neither of them are new products. So this is gonna be me pulling out things from my stash that I'm like, love these, probably need to use these, especially because we all know that creams go off a little bit faster. So this first one is the Danessa Myricks Vision Flush in Nutcracker. So this is definitely a bit more on the cooler toned side, and I will swatch these right next to each other. So this product is really nice because you can sheer it out quite a bit, and it just has this lovely satin skin finish quality to it. So it really does blend out very beautifully. Now, within the Vision Flush line, there are 2 shades that I would think you could use more as like bronzers. There's this one, and then there is also Toasted Almond, which leans more into the warm side. So if you're looking for something that's on the cooler side, even if you just have cooler skin and you're looking for a beautiful bronzer, I think that this would be really nice. I love this rosy tone that this has because even if I'm wanting to use it almost like as that like kind of like rosewood flush on the skin, I could totally do that, but I have been using this as a soft contour shade and it's lovely. So the other one that I pulled out, and again, this is really just because like, wow, I know I like that formula, but I haven't used it in a while and I'm probably gonna need to get rid of it sooner than later, so I should definitely get some use out of it, is the Fenty Cheeks Out Cream Bronzer. So this one is the shade Butter Biscuit. I have 2 shades. I have this one and I have Macchiato. Butter Biscuit is a little bit more on the neutral side. I wouldn't say it's cool by any means, but it definitely is more neutral. I have quite a bit left in here, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop this on. So you'll be able to see here, it does not have the rosy hue that the Danessa Myricks has. I'm gonna build this up just a little bit more. I do think that this one shears out a bit more, not because it's more blendable, but just because I really think that it's a bit less saturated. So again, here you can see that like little bit of rosiness that this has. And then Butter Biscuit really has that more like very, very neutral, maybe with just like a hint of coolness to it, kind of cream bronzer. And so the thing that I like about this is, again, it works as a great bronzer shade. I don't feel like I get orange with this. There's something about, you know, I have a neutral leaning into like olive skin tone, and so sometimes I just find that like the warmer bronzers just make me look more orange, and you'd think like, oh, I've got a little bit more leaning warm, but it's really more of that olive warmth, not the like orangey golden warmth. And I just find that it just I just don't love it. I don't love when my skin looks overly orange. I mean, nobody loves that. Well, okay, there's one person out there that I know that really loves an orange skin tone, but I'm not going for that vibe. So I just think that like I want to have dimension to my face. I want to have that like just in from the sun look, but I don't need it to be gold. I don't need to be gold to do that. No one's skin tone changes as they get more tan, as they get deeper. Your skin does not go from neutral into warm. It does not go from cool into neutral. Like, it just gets darker. Your undertone is still there. And sometimes I think that people think as they get a little bit deeper in the summertime, you know, you might be able to get away with it being warmer, but it's still not my vibe. That's my thing. So anyway, I do love both of these. And by the way, the bronzer that I used today is the Fenty one. I did just use it almost, again, more to like sculpt the face a little bit. So I have a bit around the sides of my temples, a bit on my cheeks, a bit on my jawbone, and that's really it. So again, for me, it was just like to give my face a bit more dimension. Okay, so now let's talk cream blushes. Honestly, you all know that I just love a cream blush moment. And maybe coming into summer, like if I do feel like I'm getting extra glowy, maybe I'll pull out a powder blush, even if I'm like doing like a layering moment just to keep it on the skin for longer. But right now it really has been all about the creams for me. If I have been pulling out a powder, it's been the RMS ones, which I've talked a lot about. I did, by the way, if you saw on my community tab, I shared that they were on sale. I did pick up 2 of the other shades. Maybe I will use them in a future video because they are actually in the box. The Sephora order just came recently and I just haven't been bothered to take them out of the package yet. Maybe because I'm trying to use what I have, which means I probably shouldn't have bought those other ones, but they're just so darn pretty. Okay, anyway, cream blushes that I've been enjoying. Now this first blush is one that I've had in my collection for quite a while. I think I bought this one when they first came out. I really enjoyed it, but then, you know, it just kind of got lost in the shuffle and I was reminded of it recently and I was like, ooh, I really need to pull that one out. And I feel like this is a good time because eventually towards the end of summer, I probably just won't be able to wear this one anymore. This is the Melt Cream Blush Light in the shade Golden Hour. This is just so pretty. I mean, you can see like, I don't have it on today. I have the other one on that I'm going to talk to you about in just a minute, but this color is just so lovely. I like the formula of this. It is a very thin, it's thin and emollient, but it's not like overly glossy. It's not going to slip slide around the face. The formula on this is so beautiful. I also find that, by the way, I know recently I did that Sigma Beauty video and the blush formula I feel like is very similar to these. I don't know the price point difference on the 2 of them. I will maybe put that here, but I felt like they were very, very close formulas. And it was funny, I was watching Khaki today do her little like face blush swatches of all of her like coral blushes, which you know is my jam. And she actually said the same thing. She said, oh, the Sigma ones are a lot like the Melt. And I was like, oh, I'm glad I'm not the only one that thought that. But anyway, here is the shade Golden Hour. Ooh, yeah, you can barely see that on my skin. So this is why I was like, oh, I need to pull that out now before I'm too tan. It's probably almost there. I do think that you can build this one up, but I could also see putting this one down and then layering maybe like a more colorful pop towards the back, or putting the colorful pop down first and then layering this one over the top to just kind of give it like a watercolor vibe. Would really like that. So definitely liking this one. I really do like this formula. I'm really tempted to get more. I'm not going to buy any because I have a lot of cream blush. And to be honest, off the top of my head, this might be the only Melt product in my collection as of right now. I really haven't tried a lot of Melt products. I've never tried the eyeshadows. This is it for me. And I really do like this. I won't be getting any more, but I do really like them. So maybe you have these in your collection from the launch like I did, and it's like, dang, it's time to get these out. All right, let's talk about one of the newer cream blushes in my collection. I really love this one, especially the shade. I love the formula, but I really love the shade. This is the Yummy Skin Flushed Blurring Balm from Danessa Myricks. You know, all of these products have such long names now. This is the one that's on my skin today. So I know a lot of people have said that they feel like these products are like almost oversaturated in pigment, at least people who are like medium and lighter skin tones. I personally don't think that. I think these are fairly easy to work with if you use a lighter hand and you apply with the right product or with the right tool. So that for me is just, I just haven't had a problem even with my brighter one. But, you know, I get that some people don't want to have to be delicate, so that's fine. But I think that that just adds to the value of this because this is going to last me a really long time. And you can see it looks very, very saturated in the pan, but that's what I have on my cheeks. I did go through with this brush from Luxie. So this is the tapered highlighter brush. I've just been finding, honestly, I need to do a deep clean in my brushes. So I kind of have like a few randos sitting out right now. And this one is one that I've been using for my cream blushes. But you can see that it is just so fluffy and it just really creates an airy feel to the skin. And I think because it is a bit tapered, you can really like apply the product down more concentrated and then really blur it out, you know, like you just get that little bit of application on the tip of this one, and then, you know, it's easy to shear out. So I like Lexi brushes. They're not like my favorite brushes by any means, but just something that has like a lighter feel to it just creates a wash. And I just like barely just boop into the pan. The other thing, I talked about this in a recent video, whatever other product I was using, maybe it was one of these, where you could totally just like apply a bit to the back of your hand and apply it to the skin too, and that sort of gives you that like saving grace. But, oh, speaking of, that just reminded me, I do have another blush sitting here. But anyway, do love the Danessa Myricks. I do think that it gives more of a satin finish to the skin. This is, I would say, the least glowy of all three of the blushes that I'm showing you today, but it still has a nice soft sheen to it, or a nice soft, not a sheen. It's like, you know, just that like velvety look to the skin. I really do like this one. So when I said, whatever I said, did I say something? Saving grace. I said saving grace, and it made me think of the Sydney Grace. So these are the new cream blushes. They were available in May in the 2 bundles that they did. They were kind enough to send me over both of the shades. I'm going to share with you the shade Petunia today. Oh, I did not swatch. I did not swatch Jubilee. Oh my God, I didn't even talk about the shade. It's Jubilee. I started getting into the formula so much and I didn't talk about the shade. Hello. Okay, so this is the shade Jubilee. I really like this because it is sort of a, it is a like slightly browned out terracotta rose. That's what I'm gonna go with. And then this shade Petunia from Sydney Grace is a bit warmer. This definitely has a bit more of like a rusty, almost reddy shade to it. Yeah, it's like a rust and a red together is kind of what I would say. So you can see here. So this is the Melt Golden Hour. This is Danessa Myricks Jubilee, and this is Sydney Grace Petunia. Let me get those just a little closer. So hopefully the camera's picking that up. I mean, the Melt product is definitely the most sheeny, and then I would say that the Sydney Grace is next, followed by the Danessa Myricks. The Danessa Myricks definitely has that like balmy texture. It really is very close. If you've tried the Yummy Skin Blurring Balm, it's maybe just like 1 click up in glow factor from that product. So more of that, like, again, like that velvety feel on the skin. I'm just going to keep saying the same words. So let's go ahead and move on. But those are the 3. You can tell I've definitely had a color vibe. And I think that there's something about this. Again, this is the Jubilee shade. It's sort of like, is it rosy? Is it warm? What's going on? I feel like it goes with a lot, and that sometimes is exactly what I need, especially when, you know, I get up in the morning and I'm like, I don't even know where my makeup is going to take me today. So usually I'm like popping on my eye look and then I'm going in with a blush, and sometimes I just want something that I know is going to work with just about everything that I put on, and I feel like that Jubilee shade really does that, and I've really enjoyed when I'm wearing warmer looks going ahead and putting this one on as well. Now, moving into some eye products, I'm going to share with you a few of the products that I reached for time and time again, I just couldn't put them down, and a few of the products that just really made me super happy when I wore them, and that's going to be this first one. It is self-serving because it's a shade that I created, so we're just gonna get this one out of the way right away, but this is the shade Love's Been from Pretties for Your Face. My camera's having a hard time focusing today, but this is this beautiful, you know, green shifty moment. I'll go ahead and swatch her for you, and this I topped over another shade, which I'm actually gonna be sharing with you as well, and I just love this. I think it is so multi-dimensional. You know, you can really wear this in so many different ways, and I just think it's very magical. Obviously, I'm biased because I created it, but I really do love this one. I think this shade is considered one of the standard shades. It's not one of the polymorphs, so you could get this. I mean, I think they're, what, $5 at full price, but of course the brand has a lot of sales, you know, buy one, get one free, 50% off. I mean, look at that. I'm gonna try to get up nice and close. So you can see here, you can see there's that base shade, and then you get that beautiful shimmer over the top. So you can, you know, apply it wet to get a little bit more full coverage opaque look from this, or you can just simply top it over another shade, and it's beautiful. And by the way, my code KeepBeautyReal will give you an additional 20% off even when there's sales. I love it. If you haven't picked it up and you are a green lover or you love a good like sheer moment, this is just so pretty. Now, this is the product that I paired this with the other day, and this is one that I've had in my collection a long time. You all know I have talked a lot about Danessa Myricks Color Fix, but it's been a while. It's been a while since I've really yammered on and on about them. Wow, 2 Danessa Myricks products in 1 month. Not really all that surprised. 3 Danessa Myricks products in 1 month. Ooh. I just love the brand. Okay, so this is the Color Fix in Exposed. And this is the pair that I did to create that beautiful little look. If I can find a picture, I will go ahead and post it here. So the nice thing about this is Exposed just really picks up that cool tone of the base of that shade. You can see that there. Like it's just that like cool, kind of murky, neutral tone. And then you get that lovely shimmer over the top. So I think when I put Love's Been over the top, I just did it dry. I did not do it wet. And I just love this so much. By the way, if I was saying Lovelies before, I think I might have said Lovelies a couple times. That's one of the other shades that I created. Also beautiful. Not the one that I'm talking about right now. It is Love's Been. So yum yum. Love this so much. And these are just so bulletproof. Every time I wear them, my look lasts all day long. It does not crease. I just adore these. And this shade I think is a really great way to start. If you haven't tried a color fix before, you know, the matte shades, you still have a little bit of playtime with them. They're very concentrated, they're very pigmented, but you can like blur it out, create a beautiful base, throw another shadow over the top, can transform a look. Just love these. I do have one more single shadow that I want to share. This might be cheating a little bit because it's only been a few days since I wore this one, but let me tell you, when I put it on, I was like, oh, I forget about how amazing these are. So I'm just gonna say, of course, this is a Divina shade. And really, I just have to say, like, sometimes, you know, when you are really into indie makeup and you're trying all the things, you're buying singles from a ton of different brands, eventually, I think we all sort of find a couple formulas that we just really vibe with. You know, it's just like, yeah, this one always makes me happy. And honestly, Divina is one of those for me. It's very rare that the brand comes out with shadows that I just don't really appreciate. Sometimes there have been a few that are more of that flaky texture, and that just isn't my personal thing. But you know, that's more like not on the quality of the shadow, it's just the type of formula that it is. But other than that, they just always make me so happy. And so when I know that I want something that's a bit unique, I just tend to reach for Divina again, because it's just something that I know that isn't gonna let me down. So the one thing is I've been leaning a lot into like the shimmery, sparkly shades, and I've sort of been ignoring my Aurora flares. If you're not familiar, you have to get one to try. I will say that. If you're not familiar, you have to get one to try. But the Aurora flares are the black-based multi-chromes, and they are just so smooth, so buttery, so lovely. So I'm gonna stop yammering on, but this is the shade Chromosphere. Now, I'm gonna be a bit delicate here because when I wore this one the other day, I took it out of the palette that I have it in, and it like popped out and flew across the room, and the entire pan fell out of the packaging. I was like, no, but you can see here that we have this beautiful, it's like a green into, I mean, I would say that is almost like a rosy brown pink into like an ambery, a more ambery, bright green gold. It's so beautiful. It just feels like molten magic. When you swatch these, it's just amazing. You can see we've got that like I said, that rosy gold brown, you've got the green, and then you get this like pop of like vibrant, more like yellow green. Oh, it's just so pretty. So there you can kind of see like all three. So pretty. I just wanted to turn down that center light so you could really see it more true. I love these. And this is one that if you want a little bit of a shifty moment, but you don't love anything that's like too out there, you know, maybe like a blue into like a purple is more color than you're used to. I just feel like greens are like a neutral color. You know what I'm saying? So I think that this is a lovely way to work yourself into multi-chromes if you haven't yet. And I tell you, this formula is just gorgeous. Now, I do have a discount code. It is Keep Beauty Real. It doesn't apply to the Aurora flares, I don't believe, but if you're shopping the site, you're picking up anything else, there are a lot of things that the creator codes do work on, so that will save you. So I just love these. I love them so much. This one I bought. I bought a lot of my Divina shadows. I do have some gifted, but I have also purchased a lot, so I just wanted to let you know that. This was purchased by me, and I pressed her into the pan as carefully as I could because I wanted to keep it. I was just like, you know, when it flew across the room, and I was like, it was totally like a no moment. And I just like, I saw it laying there. Like the shadow and the pan had like separated their lives. And I'm like, I was like, okay. If I go to pick this up, is it just gonna crumble in my hands? And luckily, I think if it was maybe more of like a sparkly shadow, it maybe would have, but the whole thing just like pressed right back in. And so I just gave it a little squish, said a little prayer. Hopefully we're okay. Okay, thank you for letting me relive my trauma. Now we're gonna move into a couple palettes. So I just wanted to say that, you know, I use a lot of single shadows every month, whether it's ones that are in my Build Your Own Palette series, or whether it's just ones that I pop out to use. And it's just hard to think back on those moments to like share with all of you. So this month I wanted to make sure to share a couple of my single shadows with you. I might try to do that. I might try to have like at least one single shadow to feature every month, one that I've used and I'm like, yeah, dang, that was pretty. So maybe I'll do that in the future. So this is a palette that I reached for. Like I said, there were a lot of mornings that I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Either I was uninspired, there was some of those moments, or it was just like, I just wanted something that was dependable, that I didn't really have to think about. And that's when the Sydney Grace Unbreakable Bond palette came out. Now this is newer to me. I mean, it is a newer to everybody palette, but I really have been enjoying this. I do love the fact that you could get just about any type of look out of this palette. You obviously have some cooler tones, you have some rosy tones, you have some neutral leaning slightly warm tones in this. You even have some more like, you know, petal pink options. Now, the one thing about this palette is for me, there isn't really an inner corner shade other than this Spring Fling shade in the top corner. And it's not that often that I'm gonna want like a pastel pink inner corner. So I always have to pull something else out, whether it's like, you know, a highlight, whatever. I just pull out a single shadow to be able to like add a little pop in. That is one thing I also do wish. I mean, right here, it looks like there's a good amount of dimension, but these lighter shades, these two here and even this one, they do show up on the skin a bit deeper. And that happens a lot with the Sydney Grace shades. I mean, it's great because they're beautiful and pigmented, but I do wish that there was just like maybe one lighter shade in here that I could just have as like a quick wash and throw one shimmer on and then I'm good to go. You know, it's almost everything in one little case. I can use the mattes in here, pair it with other shimmers in my collection. The shimmers in here are just beautiful standby. Know they're gonna work every single time and sometimes that's exactly what I need. All right, I'm gonna share this one with you and depending on when I get this video edited and up, you might be confused because you might be like, Kelly, you just used that palette. But that Sigma video that I did was actually filmed a few weeks ago and I just didn't get it edited and like up very quickly. But I have to say, I haven't had this palette for a long time, but let me tell you, once I tried it, I could not put it down. And that is the Ivy palette. This is this little 9-pan and I just love this. I just love this so much. It is what I'm wearing today. I did a very, very quick makeup look today. Like it was just like, get it on, be done. And this is just 2 shadows. Well, I guess it's 3 because I did pop some on my inner corner. Now this palette, I picked this one up specifically because I feel like the combination of colors and some of the colors in general aren't something that I have a lot of in my collection. If I was going to be trying out another brand formula, I didn't want to be getting the same color story that I have over and over again. And I'm so glad that I picked this one up. If you want to see something like the opposite of this, go ahead and check out that Sigma video because I did do a try on of other Sigma products if you're curious about the brand, but I will say that this shadow palette has been just lovely. I do find that I like both the shimmers and the mattes in here. Now, the thing that I've noticed about the shimmers in this palette, especially from the look that I did before, they have this gorgeous, very sparkly look, but not like, okay, so Divina Sparkle is like sparkle, you know, whereas Sigma Sparkle is like sparkle. You know, like it's a little bit tamed down, but still just so beautiful on the eye. Now, the look in that other video, I did at the end of my night do a little check-in with my phone and I completely forgot that I had it on there. And by the time I realized it, the video had already gone up onto YouTube. So I was like, well, what am I gonna do now with this? So it lasted a really long time, but it was just like that dimension in this dang eyeshadow. I'm telling you, I loved it. So I really enjoyed this one. I think that you can get some beautiful dramatic looks out of it. Obviously you can get things that are just sort of more like natural glam. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's what this is. It is natural, but it's not like no makeup either. You know, it's kind of like in that good little sweet spot. Love this one. Now, I do want to say, and thank you so much to my wonderful makeup friend Herman Lane for pointing this out. The price point on these, I feel like you really should get these on sale because I do think for what you get, they are a little bit overpriced. So these palettes at full price are $30. And you know, it's not even necessarily the eyeshadows in here that I think aren't worth $30, but I think usually a $30 palette is not gonna be cardboard with like a clear plastic top. I just feel like it's gonna have a little bit more sex appeal to it, you know? The one thing is that, I mean, just like most brands these days, Sigma has sales quite often. I think that they're just a little bit overpriced for the quality of the packaging that you get on this. The one thing that is nice about this is it is very lightweight. So as someone who likes to take a fair amount of makeup when I travel, this one isn't too heavy. But that being said, this isn't super protective. I mean, like literally, I can take my finger and press down and I'm touching that center shadow here. So that is just one thing. So I do just want to make that note. And I was glad that we were kind of having a conversation in the comments about that, because that was something that I did mean to mention. Now, as a professional, I do get a discount on Sigma products already. So for me, the pricing is a little bit different than for the average consumer. But I would say, get us these on a sale. I mean, if you even got 20% off, that's going to take that down to like a $24 range, which is much better. I personally think I would pay $24 for this over $14 for a ColourPop palette. So that's just me. I should have brought the pricing into play. I haven't been very good recently about talking about pricing. And obviously that is something to take into consideration when you are looking at purchasing makeup. So that is something that I did want to mention. And especially in like review videos where I'm first initially talking about products, I do want to make sure to do a better job of talking about pricing. So I apologize for that. So that's my thoughts on this. Love it. Get it on sale. Okay. I always, every time I sit down to do these favorites videos, I'm like, I don't really have a lot to talk about. This really isn't going to take too long. And then it just ends up being a whole thing. So let's go ahead and share the two lip items that I have really been reaching for. One is one that I have on now. I've been yammering for so long, you probably can't even see it anymore. It wasn't really all that visible to start with, but this is the Too Faced Hangover RX Pillow Balms. And this is in Mango Kiss. I really like this balm. I'm gonna pop a little bit more on since, again, I've been talking. So it has a little bit of like natural sheen to it, but it's not super high gloss. I think that this just does give like a little bit of something to the lips. It actually, rather than adding to the color of my lips, it almost like softens it down, you know, because I do have slightly more pigmented lips. So putting on a milky mango color over the top does sort of like take that down a little bit, but I think it goes with this vibe. I love the texture of this. It really does feel hydrating on the lips. It's a little bit more plush and thick, but there is no stick to this. It is really truly like a liquid lip balm, and I do really like it. It does have a bit of a cooling feeling to it. It's not like spicy. I don't think it's like overly cooling. It just has that like slight bit to it. So if you don't like any cooling in your products, I wouldn't get this, but it's not like super tingle factor or anything. Now the other product that I have really been enjoying, and thank goodness, because when I was trying to find it, I was like, did it fall out of my purse? Because this is one that I wore teaching class yesterday with a lip liner underneath it. So this is one of the new Merit Shade Slick Gelée tinted lip oils, and this is the shade Maraschino. So I did pick this up in the Sephora sale. This is, I think it's supposed to be one of those pH things, you know, but this color I do really like. And on my lips, oh, you can kind of see it there. We'll leave it there for a second. It'll probably deepen up a little bit. Yeah, I feel like it's already starting to deepen up. So this, it just gives you like the lightest, most natural version of popsicle lips you could ever enjoy. And so I really do like this. It's just, again, it's like cushiony on the lips. It's not super slick, but it's also not sticky. It just has a little bit more thickness to it. You know, the original Merit Shade Slick lip oils have more of that like slip. They're a little bit more oily, not like greasy, but they just have that little bit more slide to them. This has a little bit more of a feeling to it. I really do like this a lot. Does it have scent? It's hard to tell because I just wiped all that other stuff off my hands. No, I think they're unscented, which a lot of people will probably appreciate. I don't mind a little bit of scent, but sometimes it can be overwhelming, especially like some companies do those florals and it's like, who wants flowers on their lips? I don't want to eat flowers, thank you. Anyway, that's my rant on that. All right, really quickly, I have one more product that I want to share with you. This is one that I've been using recently if you've been watching my tutorials, because I've worn them for my eye looks recently, and these are the Lashes Baby Lash from Moxie Lash. So these are just a little like demi lash. They probably call them a half lash, but I feel like they're really, you know, they just give you that like outer corner lift, and I love that, but it's definitely, you know, a fairly good lash. Sometimes they're like a little bit smaller and it just like pops on the very outer corner. These do come in a pretty decent way on my eyes anyway. The thing about these lashes is, you know, Moxie Lash is known for their magnetic lashes, which they are a nice lash, but I love the Lashes lashes because there's a clear liner that is more of like they call it nano grip technology. Where did I put it? It's right here. So they do also make it in a black liner as well, but I like to use the clear liner. And the nice thing about this is it fuses to the silicone band that is on the lash. And so it is not like your typical glue. This washes off cleanly off of my lash line without a problem at all. And I really do enjoy wearing a lash on occasion, but I hate the feeling of all of that adhesive in my eyelashes. Like, ugh, it takes days to get it all out. I feel like I'm popping out a few hairs of my precious lashes as I do that, and I don't like it. So you could use a magnetic lash. I mean, even if you only do a little bit, you still have to have enough of a black line of that magnetic liner to get magnetic lashes to adhere. And being someone with hooded eyes who really enjoys just like that open feeling, more real estate to be able to put shimmery eyeshadows on, I very rarely line my lashes. And so because this is a clear liner, I get to enjoy all of the precious real estate that I do have on my eyes, but I still get to have a pop of lash. And I think that the baby lash is a nice way to start. If you are new to wearing lashes, if, you know, maybe you're just wanting something that accentuates them a little bit, but isn't overly dramatic, these are really nice. So for me, this is like the best of both worlds. I get an easy lash to put on, something that's gonna be a bit more natural enhancement, and at the end of the night, I'm not going to regret my life choices because all of the adhesive will come off. So I've really loved these. If you want to see, I do have a couple videos wearing a few of the pairs of the lashes that I have. Actually, those two videos are my two most top performing videos on my channel here, so I will make sure to have those linked down below. They're from a while ago. They are from a while ago, and in one of them, somebody totally called me out on something that I kept saying. Maybe it was like guys or something. It's kind of cringy. It is a little bit cringy, so I apologize for that. I feel like I've come a long way on my channel, so thank you to those of you who've stuck by me through the uber cringy stage and now into the slightly less cringy stage of my life. Okay, I think that's a good place to stop, don't you? I hope you enjoyed this favorites video. I always enjoy sitting down and doing all of these with you. Thank you so much. If you did enjoy it and you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing for more slight cringe. Please enjoy. And if you did enjoy the video, please don't forget to give it a like. It really does help me out here. I will see you really soon.